What's going on, guys? Alright, so we had a little bit too much fun on DMR last night. And some guys were on the radio doing silly stuff. And one guy, love him or hate him, W2GS, was reminding these guys that you need to leave a pause in between, just like you would on a regular repeater. And I guess what happened was he was having a conversation and he left a pause in between, and two other guys just took off with it and left him in the dust. And so they were upset about it. And then another guy came in there, one in particular who I've actually emailed previously, because every time he gets on the radio, he's screaming loud. I've sent him emails, dude, you got to turn the radio down like 50% or more. And I don't know what his call sign is, like something IUD. He looks like Santa Claus, and he's in Idaho, and he's in New Ham, and he doesn't want to listen to anybody. I wonder if his call sign's on here. Anyway, he's just an old prick. And I'm sure I'm probably not the only person that's asked him. But earlier in the day, then there was some other guy who got on here, and he was trying to stir everything up. He's like talking about DMR, Talk Group 91 is just an upgraded 11 meters. And then he was calling CQ, and the guy came back to him. He got upset with the guy. He said, I don't have a display on my radio, and I can't copy your call sign that fast. I need your call sign. And he's like, it would be really nice of you if you would give your call sign, your location, and something else. And the other guy just never came back to him. He was just like, whatever, I'm not going to put up with this crap. So the guy keeps calling CQ on there, and then some guy in England said, dude, this isn't the calling frequency, or something like that. And the guy got upset, and he kept going on about the upgraded 11 meters. But the funny thing was, he kept telling me that, but he kept acting like a C beer, and the thing was really funny. So it's like he's complaining that he can't copy these guys' call signs, and he doesn't have a display on his radio. Well, that's not our problem. I mean, like, I don't know the actual literal rules, but your DMR ID and your information is embedded in your signal. And it's kind of like some guys on HF choose not to identify with a voice call sign. They'll actually use a CW identifier. It's technically legal. I don't know if it's legal to use the DMR number, but I've heard before, and I haven't done the research, but I've heard before you really don't have to give the call sign. But the point is, the guy was throwing a fit. So we had all kinds of shenanigans yesterday. So anyway, forwarding to later in the day, when W2GAS was on there, and these guys wanted to argue with him, and he said, I didn't specifically say you. Why are you arguing with me? You know. And anyway, so the other guys got upset, and then that loud idiot IUD jumped in there. So finally I got in there, and I said something, and I was like, look, half of you guys don't even know how to operate your radios. You don't even know how to set your mic gain correctly. You don't even know how to check to see what you sound like before you get on a talk group that's heard by people all over the world. And I forget what else I said, but I then keyed. The guy was trying to argue with me, and I said something else, and then some other guy got on there, and he said, oh, this is way out of control, and this This talk group is heard by people all over the world, and you guys are setting a bad example. And what I do is I wait till they're about to unkey, and I just key up, and I wait. That way I know I can take it. And I said, look, I don't know who you are. Are you the gatekeeper? What's the deal here? We've told these people, we've sent them emails, we've explained to them. These guys cannot figure out how to operate a radio. They don't get it. You tell them over and over and over, and they don't get it. Either they don't get it, they don't understand it, or they don't care. They should not be on here. And they're over here stepping on people and just doing stupid crap. And so I started to like throw some profanity out there. I said, fuck or shit or something. And after I got done reading this guy the riot act, because I was pissed, I unkeyed and I heard nothing but silence. This was actually on the live stream last night. And I said, oh, that's awesome. I shut them all up. Well, the laugh was on me because they had shut me up and they went into Brandmeister and deactivated me. I'm not really sure exactly what they did, but I was looking at my hotspot and I'm like, oh, this thing's been idle for a really long time. What's going on here? So I reset my hotspot after I went into Hose Line and looked and saw these guys had been chatting away. So what they did was, probably while I was talking, the guy just looked up my ID. The other guy, probably the gatekeeper dude, probably was one of the gatekeepers. And he went into Brandmeister and blocked my DMR ID. And I guess it must not have been permanent, because when I reset my hotspot, it was working again. I didn't try and transmit, but it was working again. I very rarely ever talk on DMR. I mean, you guys who see me, do you ever see me talk on DMR? I don't. I just listen. But once in a while, I get really irritated, and I get tired of hearing the stupidity, and I lash out at these idiots. And I know that I should not do that, and it's bad behavior, and apologize. I don't know how to act. Okay, but anyway, I don't talk on here. I don't talk on 2 meters. I don't talk on 240 or 220. I don't talk on any of the UHF, VHF. I listen. If you start a good 2 meter sideband net in my neighborhood, I'll join it. Other than that, like, I'm not interested in talking on repeaters or things that go through the internet. I'm not interested in getting on Echolink. But I don't mind listening. I think it has its place in ham radio. Having said that, I also don't think you should be working other countries on DMR and applying for awards. You know? But that's not what the video is about. I was just telling you guys what they did to me. They didn't like what I had to say, and they shut me off. And it took me a couple of minutes during the live stream to figure out what was going on. And so what I was actually exploring after that was, I was like, you know, there are other talk groups. There are other networks of DMR. There are lots of other ones. But I have not heard anything. In previous times, there used to be a QuadNet, or the QuadNet array, where it was 4 different things together. So I tried to put that on here, but anyway, what's happened over the years with DMR, from what I've seen, is these really busy talk groups, and they eventually get so bad and so out of control that they end up basically just shutting them down. So there used to be a group called TAC 310. I don't know what Tactical 310 is. I don't know what it was really meant to be. Tactical frequency, I don't know, like emulation of a police tactical frequency. But people would sit there and kerchunk all day long on TAC 310. Owners of repeaters that were linked to TAC 310 were upset. They were complaining that people were kerchunking the repeater, blah, blah, blah. Eventually, they changed the rules on TAC 310, and then basically everybody quit using TAC 310. And they whined about it to where nobody used it anymore. And the same thing's going to happen to Talk Group 91. You know, people are just going to quit using it because, first of all, you have these idiots that get on here. There's so many people that just don't understand what they're doing. They don't. Other people don't tell the guy, my God, you're screaming in here, you're hurting my ears. They get one guy, I can't hear him, I got to turn my volume up to 12. And then the next guy comes in and he's so loud, I got to turn my volume down to 5. And this is like this back and forth thing with these idiots, over and over and over. And then we had other people that are using phones and Dude Star, Droid Star, whatever the hell Star, and they're screaming in here too because they have not listened to what they sound like on Parrot or any of the things that talk back and repeat. And these are like basic things. And usually, if you have a radio and you key it up on your hotspot frequency to another radio and listen to see how loud it is, you're going to get a pretty good idea. But you can go on hose line and listen to yourself on hose line and see how loud you are. There isn't any excuse for this crap. But these guys just don't get it. And most of them are in the United States. There's a few people in other places that have this problem. And then there's these idiots in Australia that they think their accent makes them intelligent. And they go on and on and on. I think the guy's name is VK3JKT. He goes, dirty, dirty radios. And so he's ranting and raving that he's tested all these radios. And he's telling us that the Bofang radios are dirty radios and that the RT3S is a dirty radio, and he's praising the UVMD380, which is the identical radio to the RT3S that he is whining about. And he has absolutely no clue. I mean, they even look the same. And he just has no clue. And he gets on here, and he spreads his propaganda every day, and just sits there and badmouths these radios while he talks on the same dirty radio. It's really funny. So, you know, one thing that's interesting about it is good entertainment. You know, I mean, it really is. But yeah, I don't know. These guys are, you know, just acting stupid. And God, that IUD guy, man, it's like, and he's just said like the worst sounding voice, and it's really loud. Then there's another guy mumbling on there. It sounded like Charlie Brown. See, he was trying to argue with the W2GAS guy. It's like, look, you're arguing with somebody else about something that you're doing wrong, and to top it off, you still haven't even figured out how to get your radio to work right. How are you going to argue with somebody when you don't even know how to use your radio? I mean, that's like fundamental crap here. I mean, I don't get it. You don't know how to use your radio, and you're going to be defensive. You're not willing to listen. You're not willing to take advice. You think you've figured it all out. That's like, my God. Shut up for a minute and listen. Listen. Watch how other people operate. I've never seen such a bunch of idiots other than GMRS. GMRS takes the fucking cake, guys. My God. If you hear GMRS in Phoenix, Arizona, that's the biggest bunch of blundering fucking retards I've ever heard in my life. straight up graduated from CB radio and went to GMRS, arguing and threatening and doxing and telling people they're going to meet him in the parking lot, turning off repeaters, secret PL tones, just the whole gamut of crap. It's a bunch of CB radio bullshit. It's like CB radio from the 70s. What's really going to be nice, I hate to say this, but when all these people from these generations die off, we might finally get a fresh start for radio in general. When all these old fuckers that were old back in the 70s die off and disappear from radio, we might finally get the enema that we need in radio. And a bunch of these idiots are on DMR. That 10-4 good buddy fucking attitude really, really doesn't get you anywhere. The guy complaining about DMR, bitching about it, saying it's an upgraded 11 meters. Well, so you didn't like 11 meters and now you're here? Well, what the fuck? Go back to 11 meters. Save up some money. Buy HF radio. Get a license. I don't understand these people. I really don't. And they're fucking miserable. They're fucking miserable. It's like, oh, you're going to drag everybody else down because you feel like shit. That's fucking awesome. And like the real miserable fucks are on GMRS. And it's really sad to watch what they do to new people too, because they don't want new people. They're a bunch of CB guys on a repeater in Phoenix. They don't want new people. They don't want anybody judging their bad behaviors, and they don't want to talk to people they don't know. So they do their very best to try and chase those people off. And then they whine about the people that jam them. They whine about the people that mess with them. They whine about the people that don't like them. It's because their behavior attracts that kind of stuff. They don't get it. So, anyway, guys, that's my rant for today. And sticking to it. We'll catch you later.